Okay, I'm making this video unedited. I don't have any makeup on. Yeah, don't come for me. I just don't. I already took it all off. Yeah, and I'm not gonna sit there and put on a whole full face of makeup, when I already took it all off and took a shower. Like that would go against the grain right there, you know. But yeah, anyways, right? So I'm just gonna tell you how my day went. You know, just to like part two of yesterday, I guess, just to catch you up. So I did go to my interview today. Oh my gosh, you guys, let me tell you. So first, it was for 9. So they said 10 o'clock, right? They said 10 o'clock. And then like the last email they gave, they was like, okay, but be 15 minutes early. So come at 9:45, right? So my car is down right now. I have to send it to the shop. I'm getting the ride from my mother and my father, right? I'm getting the ride from my parents. Bro, I get ready. I'm just like, you know what? They live 15 minutes away from me. They're gonna be, let me not make them come too early and they waiting outside and they complaining. So let me call them just at the right time. I'm not gonna lie. My alarm went off at 7 o'clock. I usually take an hour to get ready, make sure I have everything, so I have extra time in case something goes awry or arise. And I kept putting my I kept putting my 15 minutes of my 15. I kept snoozing the alarm. Okay, basically, I just kept snoozing the alarm. Okay, all the way up until 8 o'clock. No, all the way up until 7:46. At that point, I was like, you know what? Let me just get up. I gotta do what I gotta do today. Usually, my regular job is not until the afternoon. Like I don't go to work until 3 o'clock, but I get ready at 1:30, and I get ready for 1:30 and leave at 1:30, so I can have some wiggle room in case something happens on the road. But my usual job is for 3 o'clock, 3 times a week, 3 days a week, 3 to 11, right? So usually I don't wake up that early. I get to sleep in if I want to. So getting up in the morning is not my usual. Either way, right? I wake up at 7:46, all the way up, actually getting up. I got ready, made my coffee, took a bath, stretched a little bit, put my makeup on, getting ready. At 8:36, I called my parents, right? I told them that I needed to be there for 9 o'clock, mind you. I called my mom. She was like, "Oh my God, it's ready now. It's ready 8:40. Yeah, you're supposed to be there for 9. My alarm didn't come off." I was like, "Hey, Mom, just start coming. Tell me why." Mind you, they're 15 minutes away. All she had to do is get up, get out, just walk out the door and start coming. Tell me why they arrived to me at 9:26. 9:26. And thinking I had to be there for 9 o'clock, mind you. Okay, I'm not gonna play good. Listen, actually, I am gonna play a little bit because that's, you know what? They're not reliable. They're not reliable like that. I mean, they'll get me to a place, but not on time. That's why I told them at 9 o'clock so they can, whatever. Either way, I get to the interview, right, at 10:56. No, at 9:56, right? So I'm already 9 minutes late for the 9:45. They told me to come 15 minutes early. I got in. It's a big place. It's a reputable place. I went to the wrong gate first. We had to go to the other gate, right? My mom drives slow, by the way, but we got there. I got there right just in the nick of time, basically. We're still technically a little bit late. And so I got in. They gave us the badge. They was talking about everything. Like they introduced themselves and whatnot. I was waiting for I think 3 minutes before the people came to get us. They walked us through the place, introduced themselves. This one girl was really late. She came in, after all that. I was like, thank God that wasn't me. You. Right? But they introduced themselves. There was 5 of them. And then they took half of us to do the interview and the role play, right? And the other half stayed in and watched the presentation. I was the first half. Mind you, they said it's multi-candidate interviews, right? They said don't be nervous. There's multiple openings available, so it's not a competition, right? But they're really strict. They said when they got us in that room, they said the first thing they said is like, you should be happy or congratulate yourself for coming this far, because out of 700 candidates, you 16 were picked, right? They said, so if you don't make it, it's even a feat getting this far in the process, because there's a lot of people who want this job. I was like, oh, a lot of us not gonna make it. I was like, okay, that's nice. You know, that's a nice way of letting us down early. Sure. So I go in. We all like are waiting. Like, imagine it's the principal office and we're waiting outside for the doors to open, right? There's 5, I think there's 4 doors, and we're each going one at a time to different. I was nervous. I was very nervous. When it was my time to go, after all that jittering and whatnot, mind you, I only had 1 cup of coffee this morning, right? Nothing to eat. And this interview was from technically 9:45 to 1, right? Technically 9:45 to 12:45, but the first one said 10 to 1. This thing was 10 to 1:30. I didn't have food. I only had my nerves and anxiety at that point, right? So I finally get in to do my part, like my little interview. And it wasn't that bad. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. They wanted us to do this STAR method. It's called situation. Explain the situation at hand. Task, explain the task you had to achieve. Action, what you did to achieve that task. And results, what happened at the end. Listen, they wanted to answer all those questions in that format. That's what happened in my first interview, right? This is my second and final interview. I did not do any of that. You know why? Because that would have messed me up. Me, I'm an overthinker. So if I overthink, my mind starts to lag and it just glitches out and it stops. And so I'll just be stumbling, stuttering, and just like staring into space, you know? So I didn't do that. I just answered these questions to my best of my abilities. I think there was like 4 questions. They weren't that bad. Honestly, there was this guy, he was one of the leaders, and then there was this lady on the computer. They were both asking me questions. I think they had like 2 or 3 each. It wasn't that bad. I answered it to the best of my ability and confidently. I did take a little bit of time to answer one of them because it was a scenario where I had to explain information. Like, give me a scenario where you explained or you basically gave a presentation to somebody, or like stood in front of her, told somebody something, like explain to them your role or something. And I had to think of a scenario, you know, and I had to I was replaying my memories to find the best one that I can say. So I asked him to repeat the question. He didn't have a problem doing that. And yeah, that process went good. Then I had to do the role play process after. That part was also not that bad. In hindsight, I could have used more empathy since it's a customer service job position. I did not. My sales side took over, and I was trying to get the lady to in the role play. She was like, oh, it was like they was asking her like she think there's a fraud on her, like a fraudulent transaction, but it was an annual fee for her credit card. And she was like, oh, you know, why am I paying $50? That's a lot. Mind you, she's supposed to be a customer for 10 years. How are you a customer for 10 years and now you're complaining about the price? Is this the time to complain about the price that you're paying? Obviously, you didn't have a problem with it because you've been a customer with us for 10 years. So I'm just like, okay, she complained about the price. Yes, she's spending all this money on flights and traveling, and it's $50, like annually. Like, obviously she got money like that, but she want to complain about the price. So I was like, you know what? Let me pitch her a better product. Like, that she travels, let me give you something with 20% traveling discount on stuff, you know, and the annual fee for that was $100. That's the sales side of me coming out. I cater to her, what she does, and how it will benefit her. But the empathy, customer service side was supposed to come out, and I was supposed to show empathy and let her know, yes, I understand. that, you know, the price is a lot for her, and I'll like try to help her with that, I guess. I did not do that. In hindsight, is 2020. That's my bad. But like, I just did the best with what I had. You know, that's just how I did it. I mean, I think I did good, but I realized in that specific category, I was lacking empathy with the customer and acknowledging that she didn't want it to be that expensive. So that was my bad. After that, there was oh my gosh, the hardest part was waiting to be interviewed. Like, I had to wait for like an hour, bro. Oh my gosh, an hour and a half though. Like, because they was interviewing everybody one step at a time. And then we went to the other room. They took the next group after we was done, and there was a big presentation this lady was doing, the other leader. And that was a lot. Like, there were lights, bro. I didn't eat. I was trying to pay attention. My mind kept zoning in and out. But I was listening to her. She was making a lot of sense. But I was like, we don't get no type of break? No type of break? No coffee? No, we didn't. No extra coffee, no extra snacks, no food. No. We just got that presentation. And then after that, it was all wrapped up. You know? So yeah, I mean, do I have high hopes of getting this position? I want this position. I tried the best that I can. Like I said, hindsight is 2020. I could do a little better in the second portion of this interview. They told us just to be ourselves, so I did. But at this point, I remember this lady, she said, the lady who played off a scandal, she was like, if you want something, you pray to God and you ask for it. If you want to catch that bus, you pray to God that you're going to catch it. And then you run as fast as you can to catch the bus or to catch the train. That's what I did. I'm going to pray to God, thank Him for allowing this opportunity to fall in my lap. And then I'm going to do the best to get this opportunity. Because faith without works is nothing. Right? I'm not just going to like blow this and just give lame answers. I'm going to try the best that I can to get this position. And I did. Like I said, hindsight is 2020. At this point, it's up to God. And I leave everything in His hands. I truly trust God. Whether I get this position, I'll be very sad if I don't get this position, but I'll still love and trust what God has for me. Like, I believe there is no such thing as coincidence. There's a reason for everything. Okay? God has a reason for this. God knows better than me. He truly wants what's best for me. Okay? Whether I know what's best for me right now or not. So I want this position. I don't know if I'll get it. I'm not overly confident because like they said, it's a very competitive position. They said they want the best of the best. You know? So, I mean, I just leave it up to God. I thank God. Like, I did my best. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That is exactly where I'm at. Okay? So that was basically a story time. I met some nice ladies there. I asked for some coffee. The lady who was the timekeeper, she kind of ignored me. And then this other lady went to go get some water. But the other guy, she came back with coffee. And I was like, you know, all not offended. But I was like, what? I want coffee. You didn't give it to me. But she got it. But the lady was like, oh, if it makes you feel better, the coffee's not that good. You can have some. And I'm telling you one thing. Someone offer me something that I want, I'm taking it. I'm taking it, bro. I'm not losing the opportunity. Not me. So yeah, that was a nice lady. I liked her. I hope I see her in training. I hope I get the job. God is good regardless of my circumstances. He's continuously good to me. And He's continuously been good to me in my career. Especially in my career phase. So I mean, my relationships have not been the best. My family status has not been the best. My health has not been the best. But one thing I can say, God always gonna get me the job I need or the job I want. God, I mean, as far as that goes, like I said, I leave it all up to God, but He's always pulling through at things like this. Out of all the jobs I applied for, And I applied for 5, mind you. Though this one is the only one that got back for me. And this is the only job that I actually wanted out of the bunch. That I was like crossing my fingers to get. They came back really quickly with the first interview. This is the second and final interview. Cross your fingers. I guess I'll keep you updated, but this is just a vlog. You know, this is just telling you where I'm at right now currently. Yeah. Alright, you guys. Like and subscribe if you got to this point. Bye.